Do 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 boop do 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 do. That's right. It's 1 a.m. where I am, and I'm awake. And here I am. Yep, here we are. Here we are. Welcome to EDH Study Hall here at Cackling Carnarium, presented by yours truly, Johnny Slivers on the internet. Yeah, find me on Twitter at Johnny Slivers. We are continuing our journey through beta, and we are continuing the mission at hand. Yes, we are. I am pointing my eyeballs at literally every card in the history of the game of Magic the Gathering. It is my cop out on content. I get infinite source material to work with. So here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on. Last episode, we ended on Nightmare. And we have not woken up. Here we are with Northern Paladin. Northern Paladin was one in the original set. It had printings up through 4th edition, and then one more time, it looks like in 7th. And other iterations of this card had been made. There's, I believe, an Eastern Paladin. There might be a Western Paladin. I don't know if there's a Southern Paladin, but in any case, whichever Paladin it was designed to nerf a particular color. This Paladin is a 2 and 2 white for a summon creature knight, typically at rare level. The ability is pay 2 white mana, tap, destroy target black permanent. Permanent, that wording's relevant. Now let's consider when it comes to EDH, these cards like this, you need to really know your meta. If you've got somebody who's always showing up at the table with Atraxa or anything, any key component like key commander or key planeswalker that is black, then yeah, this card, it makes sense. It's a 3/3, so it's pretty resilient. It's got it's got Hill Giant stats, essentially. We'll get to Hill. Did we get to Hill Giant? Yeah, Hill Giant was like vanilla 3/3 for 4 CMC. So, we've got Northern Paladin doing a similar thing, and then it's got this ability baked in. I'm not sure. It's like, I don't think the numbers are going to be that strong if we go and look at the analytics on EDH Rec, so we're not going to worry about that. And just bear in mind, if you're newer to the game, you've probably never seen this card, having been last printed in 7th edition. Yeah, it is unlikely you are maybe, actively aware of this card. You may have passed it in bulk bins, but this is nothing you think about. It's very meta specific, so unless you're dealing with major black permanents, the fact that it targets all black permanents, that is the relevant part. If it was just creatures, then I don't know, but there are plenty of black permanent sources that need to be dealt with. So, that's something to consider. If you're dealing with obnoxious mono black, whatever, anything, and yeah, if you're dealing with that color scheme in the game, this is worth considering, but only if you're going to be dealing with those problems. So, moving on, let's get on to the next card here. Back to the list. That was Northern Paladin, derp, and then Obscenius. What? Is it spelled right? Have I? Obscenius Golem? I have been mispronouncing this card my entire life playing this game. Wow. Okay. Obscenius Golem. I always thought it was Obsidian Golem because I didn't read the card. Not reading card. Obscenius Golem. Yeah. I just been misreading the whole thing. It's a vanilla 4/6 for 6 generic mana, and nope, sorry, pass. Don't play this card. For the love of God, if you're gonna spend 6 mana on a creature, make it worth it, and that's not worth it. Next up, Orcish Artillery. This is a cheeky little card, and at first glance, it's not necessarily something you're like, oh, getting all excited about. It's 1 and 2 red for a 1/3 Orc Warrior. As a creature, it was printed in many, many sets right up through 10th edition, so it's modern legal. But in EDH, the ability is tap Orcish Artillery, deals 2 damage to target creature or player and 3 damage to you. Big drawbacks, kind of like in EDH, it's got a little more wiggle room because you start with 40 life, so that does give you a little more leeway, but that's a big workaround to like make that happen. And maybe if you can put some if you can put some lifelink on it, it's nice to like zap things for just shock things across the board, and then you gain 2 life ultimately at the end. But it's a tough one. Like, I mean, if you want to be on theme, if you're building an orc deck and orcs, that's kind of their style is self-destruction. Yeah, sure, fine, go for it. But I wouldn't put stock in this card as far as EDH goes. I would pass. And let's move it along. Okay, after Orcish Artillery, we come up to Orcish Oriflame. This one is one of the OG Anthem cards. And Orcish Oriflame, fun fact, if we went back, I think if we went to the Alpha edition, let's see, let's take a peek at Alpha. Yeah, look at that. So maybe, I don't know if you can see it here on the screen because I'm doing super low rent on my tech, but the original casting cost for Orcish Oriflame was 1 in a red, and they fixed it in beta. Beta brought it to the correct casting cost, which is 3 and 1 red for an enchantment. And it says when attacking, all of your attacking creatures gain +1/+0. It's an overpriced Goblin Bushwhacker, essentially, but it stays on the field, and any of your creatures attacking will get that buff. If you're dealing with like a tokens deck, if you are playing goblins, if you're doing like a Krenko goblin deck and you want to have like an extra effect, like an anthem effect like this in that color, it's not the worst. You're gonna get them for super cheap. It got a printing in the Eternal Masters. Let's see, they give it a new art. Yeah, nice new art. And is that the head of a goblin? What the? Oh boy, oh, what the goblin head just like hanging. That's, I don't know if it's dead or alive. All right. And it got shifted down to common. I think was it? Yeah, it's been uncommon for the longest time. So it actually got into pauper. So that's pretty cool. It's cool that it got dropped down to pauper mode. That's interesting. Cost is a little high for an anthem ability. There are other cards that can do similar things better for less mana. But when you're in EDH and you're looking for multiple abilities of any given ability, it's you look at lesser options when you want repeatability. So yeah, Orcish Oriflame. I mean, if you're in a strategy that's going wide, it's worth taking a look. I wouldn't make very strong recommendations for it because there are better options, but it's there. After Orcish Oriflame, where are we? We go to Paralyze. This is an interesting early removal card. Paralyze for 1 black mana was an enchant creature that reads target creature does not untap during its controller's untap phase. That player may pay an additional 4 mana during their upkeep to untap it. Tap target creature when Paralyze comes into play. So it puts a 4 mana tax on a creature in play. This can be helpful for slowing things down, but I mean, when you're dealing in EDH, ultimately you are getting, in most games, when you're playing competitive, the games are wrapping up in like turns 4, 5, and 6. EDH proper casual will go longer, so this tax becomes less of an issue as time goes on in the game. There for 1 black mana, the things you can do for that mana, that slot for the card in the deck, you're probably going to find better options at 1 mana. Like, I don't know, if you're in green, you play Birds of Paradise over this. If you've got white mana in there, if you're playing white, then you would play Source of Plowshares or Path to Exile versus Paralysis, because just straight up get rid of the card. And this just is bottlenecking the resources, and it's not as effective. So it's a neat card to think about, but I think it's just a nice little thought experiment. I wouldn't say go to town with that. I would say, yeah, I wouldn't deal with that. Moving on here to the next card after Paralyze. Pearl the Unicorn. Remember, maybe if you've gone through any of my earlier episodes here in Study Hall, when I said friends don't let friends play Grey Ogre, friends don't let friends play Pearl Unicorns either. It is 2 and a white for a 2/2 summon unicorn. They stopped printing it in 5th edition for a reason, and it is just vanilla trash fire. Where it belongs, in a trash fire. Wall of flavor text, blah blah blah. Do not play this in EDH. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200 unicorns. Next up, we have Personal Incarnation. Personal Incarnation also seemingly did not get printings after fifth edition. That was the culling set. There were some things in the original base set that just did not make it, and so this is the trend from beta. You look through beta, and it seems like things just didn't get past fifth edition. My God. Personal Incarnation, like Force of Nature and Lord of the Pit. This was supposed to be White's big bad, but it had some kind of drawback to it because they thought, a 6/6 for 6 was just way over the top. Oh, buddy, did they just didn't know. So the casting cost is 3 and 3 white mana, 6 CMC total. The Personal Incarnation's owner may redirect any amount of damage from it to himself or herself. So basically, it's a 6/6 with a Jade Totem built into it. If Personal Incarnation is put into any graveyard from play, its owner loses half his or her life rounded up. So, personally, it's Jesus God. So it's like you can choose not to take damage, and if it dies, you lose half your life. Or you can take the damage, do whatever you can to keep it alive, and then somebody just kills it anyway, and you have what's left. God, I'm gonna regret this. We're gonna look. I'm gonna regret it, and I'm gonna. Yep, that's what we're gonna go to EDH Rec. I'm gonna look up Personal Incarnation. God help me. And you know what? I'll bet you there's going to be decks playing it, and I'll bet you the decks are going to be like they do something up to something about that. Just 5 decks. 5 decks reported by EDH Rec saying that they play Personal Incarnation. God. 5 people did this to themselves. They did this on purpose. 5 people play Personal. Jeez. Okay. Fine. It's fine. I'm fine. This is fine. Seriously? Don't do it. Good God. This goes you don't do it. Don't play Personal Incarnation. Holy cow. It's like I'm taking crazy pills. If that's what it feels like. Seeing that was like taking crazy pills. Good God. Moving on to a card that's way better. And let's see. Made it all the way to Urza Saga. We had a printing all the way up to Urza Saga at common. And that's pretty cool. All right. Urza Saga, or Pestilence. Pestilence has been around since the beginning. It is an enchantment for 2 and 2 black. And the ability is it reads at the end of each turn, if no creatures are in play, sacrifice Pestilence. Because Pestilence needs creatures to have Pestilence. That's the way it works. The ability is pay 1 black. Pestilence deals 1 damage to each creature and player. Now, it's important to understand with Pestilence. I know if you're the first time you encounter this card, you might see someone dump 5 mana into Pestilence and think that you can one off some protection ability. Pestilence is a one-time ability per mana spent. So let's say you've got a Circle of Protection black. I think we talked about this when we covered COPs earlier in the series. You need to pay 1 mana per point of damage because Pestilence is doing it at 1 point per ability. So the ability is they pay the 1 that does damage. You pay 5, that means you activated the ability 5 times. So that's the thing. Like if you are Pestilence is one of those things. As long as there's a big bad out on the field, it's going to be around. So it's just going to keep wiping out the smaller creatures and doing damage to all the other players. This card can do some work, and in the right build, it's definitely going to get you places when you're playing EDH. So let's go ahead and look at some stats on Pestilence. Pestilence. Respect. That's 1% of the deck set is reported in for black. 2001 decks reporting use of Pestilence. It probably gets edged out by cards that do it better. Was it like Plague Engine? I think Plague Engine's one of them. Pernicious Deed is going to be another one. There's other enchantments and permanents in on the battlefield that you can put in the field, and they'll get the job done better. Probably one of the things working against it is the fact that it is relying on black mana, so you're not going to see this in a lot of in a lot of decks that are mixing up different colors. You'll find them probably more in mono black decks. Not that you can't have them in other decks, but that is where the limitation would probably be. But yeah, it's nothing to shake a stick at. Like, a pestilence hits the field, you got to pay attention, because that can definitely be that can help clear things out, and it can clear out anybody who's trying to go wide. Especially, yeah, if you're going, like, if someone's playing a tokens deck, this is going to wreck some face. So let's see. Let's get a little further along here. After pestilence, we've got phantasmal forces and phantasmal forces. Good God. This is not worth it. This is, again, another reason probably why I got cut after 5th edition. It's 3 and a blue, 4 CMC for a flying creature. It has an upkeep. During your upkeep, pay 1 or bury phantasmal forces. Use something, and it's a 4/1 as a flyer. There's just too many strikes against this card for me to say, yeah, you want to play this card. You don't. No, you don't. For that kind of mana, you've got better options that aren't going to cost you an upkeep. It's just not what this is. Draft chaff at best. So no, don't play this in the EDH deck. Don't do it. Don't do it. Please, God, don't do it. Phantasmal Terrain, on the other hand, that is a different story. Phantasmal Terrain made it all the way to 6th edition. Good on it. It is it's blue for the casting cost. It's an enchant land. An enchanted land is a basic land type of your choice. This was super relevant back in the day when people were trying to go with land walk abilities as a strategy. And then the other thing you can do with this basic land of your choice, you can say, for instance, is it basically, I'm pretty sure, but whatever the land it's enchanting becomes that land of your choice and loses all of its other abilities. So you can turn Mazavith into a land that is not on color with someone's deck. You can turn one of your own lands into a critical land type that you need. But really, the biggest thing this does is nerf your opponent's mana base. It's like a passive kind of land destruction card, but it's really, the more I talk about this, more I think about it, it's just play counterspell. Just for 2 blue, just play counterspell. Unless you really need to, like, convert someone's mana into something specific because you happen to have a land walking commander, I don't see, it's not strong enough. I don't see this strong enough. Oh, invasion. Good on invasion. Yay, invasion. Nope. No, I don't see this being all that terribly powerful for EDH, so I would say pass. All right, let's see. Getting back into it here. All right, Phantasmal Terrain, Phantom Monster. Phantom Monster is generic, a 3/3 flyer for 3 and a blue. Hill Giant stats, but it flies. That's the one thing making it better than the Hill Giant, that it flies, and that is the only reason you might consider it. But even then, just don't play a clone, play a spark double, play anything other. Just, you've got better options. I mean, if you're playing this as a filler, that's fine. It's a 3/3 flying body, and that's great. But for it's kind of weak on that scale. So it is an illusion, though. That's good to know. Okay, so as an illusion, that does have some relevance. It may have a home in what is it? There's something there's an illusion strategy that you can go with. I don't know how strong it is for EDH. Now that I talk about it, I want to check. Phantom Monster Phantom Monster. Yeah. My gut was right. It's there's 10 decks reporting it. So yep, dodge that bullet. Don't play that card. Find something better. Although I do like the original art. That's the one. When I played Magic in like 94, and I had this card and played this card. I was like, that just, I don't know, the artwork just seems so funky, like just weird eyes and toothpaste and teeth flying at you. That's creepy heebie jeebies. Oh, fun. The monster, the pirate ship. Pirate ship. Oh, pirate ship. That's precious. Oh, times. I do like the look on the time spiral. That's pretty vivid. All right. So, pirate ship was a 4/3 for 4 and a blue. It is a human pirate. Oh, creature, human pirate. Fun. Pirate ship can't attack unless defending player controls an island. Very classic thing that happened with some of the original blue creatures. The ability is tap. Pirate ship deals 1 damage to target creature or player. When you control no islands, sacrifice pirate ship. Good Lord God. All right. This is nah. It's just not. It's not worth the work for it. There's like so many. It's not worth it. It's cheeky. It's cute, but if you want to do like a pirate theme, if you're playing pirates, if you're gonna go Admiral Beckett Brass and you want another ship and you put pirate ship in there to be all like, yay, I got the original pirate ship. Good. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Fine. It's cool. It's fine. Better options to play. There's better things to do with that mana. And that's this is just if you happen to have a beta version or an alpha version for your Pirates Commander deck, then that could be pretty cool. That would be a pretty sweet thing to put in there. But that's about it'd be for style, form over function. There are better cards with better function. All right, so look at that. Clickety clack. Moving on through. Pirate ship. Yeah, let's go a little bit more. A few more here. We've got pirate ship, then plague rats. Plague rats is tricky because I believe, yeah, it's specific to plague rats. Look at that. XX power. Yeah. All right. So let's get to something you can read a little better. They made it to 5th edition. It was 2 and a black for summon rats. They were star power toughness. Plague rats has power and toughness each equal to the number of plague rats in play. Has to be plague rats. So that was at best they could be 4/4s for 3. And they don't have enough scope. They're, at least with like relentless rats, it's all rats. I think pestilence rats can count all rats, but the drawback being that they are was it pestilence rats from like Ice Age? Well, we'll get there eventually. They had a toughness of 1 and a star power. So, these things, they don't have the reach. And when you can only play one of, they're not worth having in the EDH. All right. So after Plague Rats, we have Planes A, B, and C, each of them going for about $15. Again, when it comes to basic lands, if you have any access to a beta or unlimited or alpha, but like anything that says the literal word tap to add 1 whatever to your mana pool, you play that card because they just look sweet. And they're great talking points, and you get to play them in all your decks that have the right color scheme. Next up, Plateau. I believe this isn't the one. Okay. I want to say one of the dual lands from alpha to beta, the alpha print run was missing a dual land. I blank on exactly which one it was. It's not this one. Somebody can probably tell me in comments, but I know, like, again, pretty straightforward. These are the best dual lands you can get. They count as both basic land types, so they are fetchable. They do not have penalties for entering the battlefield, so they enter untapped, and you can use them immediately. And they will never get reprinted again, I don't think. Where someone reminded me where, I think it was MTG Stocks, was it? And let's see, Plateau. Was it this one that tells us reserve list? Yeah. Duels are on reserve list. Plain and simple. That's it. You're never going to see them again. And that's that. If you happen to get your hands on them, just know that it's going to make your deck really expensive. So, you don't want to lose that at a convention if you got original dual lands. So there it is. Original dual lands, totally always playable. Definitely play them if you can play them. And let's go to Power Leak. Yeah, we'll wrap it up on Power League. All right, so Power League, another one that made it only to fourth edition. It was a blue enchantment, and let's go to something that's a little more legible here. Those older cards have just like this such a dark print to them. That's the thing. Like they have a very dark and bleeded print, so a lot of the wording, like if you look at Jazum Jin from Arabian Nights, the casting cost and the background of the print of the card were so close in color that, or it was so actually, it was so much, it was such a, it was so much that the actual 2 mana that you see, and then the two skull symbols for the actual casting cost, you couldn't see the number 2, and people would like cheat them out for 2 mana because it was, they just couldn't see the casting cost because the colors were so bleeded together. So that's like when you see old cards, you're kind of like look for hard to read casting cost. That's kind of a tell that might be, helps you kind of spot the originals. But I'm certainly not an expert on spotting counterfeits. But going into this, anyway, Power League, one in the blue for an enchant creature. I lied. That's enchantment. During the upkeep of target enchantment's controller, Power League deals 2 damage to him or her. That player may pay 1 for each damage he or she wishes to prevent from Power League. So to prevent the damage, they have to pay 2 mana. You drop this on a critical enchantment that someone's playing. This one, check your meta. As much as you want to throw this on something like an Aura Shards, odds are, because it's Aura Shards, the next thing they play, they'll kill the Power League. So that's not the right target for it. You want to go after, like, if somebody's playing a Voltron deck, then maybe you got something to work with there. But the fact that we're playing EDH with 40 life, games go long, people get their mana bases up, maintaining this isn't a problem. When we're dealing with, there are, again, this is one of those situations where this is an interesting, neat idea. There are better cards to play for 2 mana. So there it is. I think that's a good spot to wrap things up here. I hope you are enjoying the drivel and drabness, but yeah, this is for me. I'm doing this for me, but I'm putting on the internet because I know there will be people out there who may just want to be like, have that background noise, talking about the old cards and just getting some feedback, even if it's just like, even if you just catch one card that was printed before, I don't know, you were born, and it just catches you. That's what this is here for. So you're welcome to it. I'm glad I can, if that gets there for you, I'm glad I could help you out with that. Otherwise, thank you for joining, and I hope you are getting something out of this as much as I am. I'm getting some I'm finding some little gems in here. Not this one, not so much. The personal incarnation does not wow me, and it is just a god. 5 people played per. Oh my, come on, man! It's Looney Tunes. It's straight Looney Tunes. Anyway, leave a comment, click the subscribe, like button, whatever, all that YouTube stuff, and then find me on Twitter at Johnny Slivers. I hope this has helped you in some way, as I've repeated. And yeah, have a great day. Till next time, game on, and may your top decks be epic. Laters.